Hey everyone, Couch Investor back to another video for today and back with another Tesla weekly video. I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend. Now, unfortunately, the talk of the town yet again, each and every week it seems, is again price cuts. Price cuts after price cuts after price cuts. Now, the discussion that we had already last week about should Tesla not advertise. If you want to watch that video, it's going to be in the top right corner. Now, on the flip side, you have people saying, okay, you're having price cuts, fine. You want to take more market share. You want to force the competition to maybe reduce the prices as well if they want to compete with Tesla. But then why not reduce the price once, 20%, 30%, and be done with it? Instead of doing it each and every week or bi-weekly, 5% here, 10% there, it becomes, I wouldn't say brand destroying, but it becomes a bit annoying for the people that actually buy the cars, right? Because right now maybe people are saying, look, I want to buy the car, but seeing how every week or 2 weeks suddenly the price gets reduced by 5 to 10%, maybe I'll just wait it out. And so if Tesla would have cut prices 20% like that one time and leave it as is, I think people would have been, I would say, calmer, maybe more comfortable buying the car, let's say. And from an investor standpoint, it's also, okay, we're done. Price cuts are done. We're now at 20% less. Okay, let's move on. Now, on the flip side, of course, if it's the other way around, if they increase prices, then it puts pressure on the buyers, right? Because then it's like, oh, if I don't buy now, they might increase the prices again, and then I'll be screwed. But right now, it's a weird situation. Fortunately for us, we'll get a lot of answers next week when earnings report comes out. So stay tuned for that. I'm probably going to go and watch Farzad or Rob's live stream. Maybe I'll do one of my own. Haven't decided just yet. But we also have a lot of other things to discuss in this video. Some numbers out of China, out of Europe, and then Elon Musk specifically, and of course the leaked picture of the potential new design looking Model 3. We don't know yet. So we'll discuss all of this in this video. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not. And if you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. So first things first here. Elon Musk plans artificial intelligence startup to rival OpenAI. Now remember, Elon Musk also said, Steve Wozniak, and a couple of others are saying we need to pause the development in AI right now because it might become a bit too dangerous if we go so fast. Well, with this coming out, some people might say, maybe he was calling for a pause because he's starting his own startup. Could be conflicting, of course. Now, going straight into Europe, straight to Germany. So Tesla Model Y was Germany's #1 EV and #4 best-selling car in March. So we can see here of the 44,125 BEVs, Tesla accounted for 8,703 units, or nearly 20%. At the same time, Model Y accounted for 5,701 sales, Model 3 2,560, Model S 313, Model X 129. Now, some of you might know, some of you might not know, but coming in #4 overall, which means 3 other cars are in front of you. In this case, 3 other cars belonging to Volkswagen. So it was outperformed by Volkswagen T-Roc, which is, by the way, my parents' car. Then Volkswagen Golf, which was the previous car my parents had. And Volkswagen Tiguan came in third. Now, some of you might say, that unfamiliar, let's say, with pricing in Europe, you can get those cars at a pretty decent price. I believe the T-Roc is less than 30,000 euros, for example. And now staying in Germany for a bit, the Tesla effect is real. So Tesla Giga Berlin shapes Brandenburg success story, says minister. Tesla Giga Berlin is helping to develop the Brandenburg success story, says the state economic minister Jörg Steinbach. It's true that the state is benefiting from this. The Tesla effect is real. It says here, yes, Brandenburg is gaining momentum. This is a real turning point that proves the economic and therefore social success of this state. Now the state is clearly catching up in important economic key data compared to the Western federal states. Of course, This is one of the main reasons why a lot of countries around the world want Tesla to build a factory there. And now the price cuts. We had price cuts across the board in Europe, Singapore, and Israel, and not small ones either. So in Israel, for example, since the start of 2023, prices were reduced by approximately 25%. In Singapore, for example, the prices were cut from 4.3% to 5%. And then for Europe, I'll go and look at a tweet. But first, I tweeted this last week after I released my video. So after all the price cuts Tesla has done this year, some models are still more expensive than in 2021, despite the ramp up in Austin and Berlin, and prices of materials such as lithium coming down. So these are the prices the models that were still higher than in 2021. And of course, now a bit less for some models. But remember, you can reduce the price of the car, but there is still software that is being sold, whether it's $6,000 or $15,000, that is on top of that vehicle, which is close to 100% profit, right? So people forget this. People forget the flexibility of also adding software. Of course, not everyone is going to buy FSD. That's just a given, right? Now, when it comes to the other price cuts, we can clearly see here in Norway, Germany, France, Netherlands, price cuts from around 4% all the way to a reduction of 10% across Model 3, Ys, long range, performance, etc. And the same goes here for Denmark, Model 3 performance down 9.1%, Model Y performance down 9.2%. So again, across the board, we have new price cuts. And I'm sure a lot of analysts will ask questions with regards to this during the earnings call. But let's first look at the earnings report. Let's see how margins are doing. Remember, we're probably going to see a bigger hit maybe in Q2 already, because there might have been some backlog in Q1 from models that were sold before the price cuts. So take all that into consideration. And now, when it comes to the reason behind this, right? Because we have to look at the big picture. For Tesla to sell 20 million vehicles by 2030, of course, these vehicles have to be affordable. Because if those vehicles aren't affordable, there's no way in hell you even come close to those 20 million. And to be honest, I still think that 20 million is far-fetched, even with a compact car. But hey, you never know, right? You never know. So we have this picture right here. So the price war, how Tesla's top sellers have compared to the average new car in the United States. Model 3 is the black line, Model Y is the neon green one. Of course, the black line here near the zero is the average new car. So Model Y now just $2,241 more than the average new car, while Model 3 much cheaper. And so now an EV, the best one out there, in my personal opinion, is now destroying, let's say, the competition. I'm not saying the competition that is less worthy than Tesla, but they have to compete with someone, right? ICE and other EVs. In this case, because the prices are coming down and because they have the luxury of dropping prices, of course, some people will say, oh, but they're doing this because demand is low. Well, I rather believe Elon than an anonymous account on Twitter. So yeah. Moving on to energy. So Powerwall is now available in Thailand. Tesla has been working to build solar and energy storage system as well as vehicles. Powerwalls can be purchased through the certification installer Solar. Continue here on the energy side. So Bradford Ferguson did an amazing thing. He went to Lathrop, the Megapack factory, stayed there for 6 days, took notes to see exactly how many Megapacks came out of it. Basically, 10 per day. So if you do this on a quarter basis, it's $1.8 billion in revenue. Now, for profit, he did his calculation. Of course, I'd love to see Tesla break down the energy side now in the next earnings report. I think it's becoming bigger and bigger, so it might be worth it to differentiate it so we can actually calculate or see the numbers and maybe do some projections or assumptions or whatnot. But hey, again, kudos to Bradford Ferguson here. And of course, some people say, oh, 6 days is not enough. Okay, 6 days is not enough, but I don't see anyone else going there 6 days and 24/6 and looking at trucks coming in and out. And of course, He could have been there on a special week. Maybe production was higher, maybe it was lower. We don't know. Of course, it's just 1 week out of the 52 weeks during the year. We know. I'm sure he's going to go back. I think he actually announced that he's looking for someone. So if you're up to it, make sure to DM him. Now, this picture was leaked. And in my opinion, it's a shame that it was leaked like this, because I would have loved to have an announcement by Tesla if this is the new Model 3. And to be honest, this looks 10 times better than the current Model 3. I answered here that, well, in red please, and then tweeted out a picture of the Tesla Roadster, because in my opinion, if you look at the headlights, you can see that it was maybe a bit inspired by this. In my opinion, this looks way nicer. Way nicer. Of course, there's no Tesla logo on this car. We've seen some other Project Highland cars roaming around, but they had covers on the front and the back. This one has not. And then you might say, oh, so why is it dirty on the front? Some people say it drove only at night. Some other people said it drove on a closed circuit or whatnot. I don't know. But if this is the next Model 3, I think it's going to be a pretty successful refresh. Then going to China. So Tesla's made in China weekly sales for the first week, 6,973, which is more than the last 2 first week months that we have combined. And of course, we have graphs by Roland here. So Tesla sales in China by year. Right now, you can clearly see that 2023 has started quite well. And if you want to see what will happen with the year-over-year comparison in the months of April and May, well, safe to say that the year-over-year comparisons here will be insane. Then moving on, we had the announcement of a new mega factory in Shanghai. This year, the mega factory is initially planned to produce up to 10,000 units of commercial energy storage batteries per year with an energy storage scale of around 40 gigawatt per hour. The products will be available to the global markets and is scheduled to start construction in Q3 of this year, put into operation in the second quarter of 2024. So again, the energy side of things is just becoming bigger and bigger. I just want to see how profitable it can become. And now before I end this video, Lucid announced its production and delivery numbers this week. But before we go and watch those numbers, I just want to remind you what the CEO said in 2020. So we are planning for production cosmos, where some plan for production chaos. It's not for me to criticize Tesla, but I'm an observer of these things, and I can say practically that there's only one car company that has production hell. I wonder how that is going. Last quarter, they gave us guidance for 2023, production volume between 10,000 and 14,000 vehicles. Pre-IPO for fiscal year 2023, the number was 43,000, if I'm not mistaken. And for Q1, they produced 2,314 vehicles and delivered 1,406 vehicles. Well, it seems to me that they produce, but they cannot sell all of their vehicles. And it's not like they're at the scale of Tesla, where building inventory makes a bit of sense. And again, if you annualize this number, it's under 10,000. Of course, Lucid will ramp up throughout the year. But currently it doesn't look that great for Lucid. Again, great cars. I said it from the start. Good looking cars, interior, exterior, fine. Stock-wise, no. Big no. And now last thing here before we end this video, the graph. So again, the weekly chart, we are going to end this week under the 20 and the 50-day moving average. MACD on the weekly, still bullish. RSI hasn't moved much, but hey, not such a great, let's say, place to be under the 20 and the 50-day going into the big earnings week. It's going to be an interesting one. Now on the daily, I do know if we can go and look, we can see on the daily, the MACD is actually bearish already. So same thing here under the 20 and the 50-day. Next week, going to be a very, very interesting one. Of course, this week we have the CPI, PPI report came in line, if not better. So of course, a positive-ish reaction by the market. Overall, for Tesla, the Tesla effect is real. Earnings report will tell us a lot. Earnings report will also probably prove the doubters wrong yet again. I'm just curious to see if Elon will join the earnings call. Of course, you can now go vote on Say for some questions to be asked. It's going to be an interesting one, but again, Tesla is a long-term story. If you think that the EV market or Tesla has reached even close to its peak, you've not been paying attention. Anyways, do share your thoughts down in the comments below. Expectations for the earnings call, earnings report. Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.